Hi, this is episode 2 of Kids React to a child reacts to it's kids react to content made by adults to diminish stereotypes of kids. Since it's not kids, I'll just make it a child because, well, I'm technically a child. Say it loud, I'm a child and I'm proud. Yeah. Anyway, this is one of my favorite YouTubers next to Chris Raygun. No offense, just a robot. Okay. To be fair, if I upload this, the next video he makes, I'm going to ask him if it was okay with him because I have respect. If I use someone's clip, the next video they make, I will probably ask them if it was okay with them for me to use their clips. And if they can record a live stream, and I will tell you guys when the live stream is going to start on their channel. So we can discuss this topic more together. Yeah. I hope we will find this and make a video of this because basically it would be kind of funny if him showing clips of basically someone. It'd be like him saying, wow. Like the title would be, a child makes more sense than Francesca Ramsey, whatever the heck her name is.
Just a robot. Okay, so some of you have probably noticed that my videos are getting shorter and shorter. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because I've been trying to branch out my
Also, sub to Just a Robot in all caps because, yeah, he has a new one.
Content and talk about different subjects. But I can't take it anymore! I need to go back in my safe space by making fun of other people for being in their safe spaces. Ha! I was wondering
Me! All the time, all day, baby. Lol.
what I should do a video on, and I realized that I've never done a video on MTV or...
Oh boy. You do not want to go to MTV. Their shows are okay. I love Star. I like Empire. But their YouTube videos about social justice is just cancer. Literal cancer. Yeah, I can't.
or Francesca Ramsey. And doing a video on MTV is kind of one of the requirements for being an anti-SJW channel. You have to do a video on MTV, BuzzFeed, Lacey Green, Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna need to do videos on lots of those people. I'm still gonna do Gotcha Life. I just forgot to do that because it takes a lot of work and time, and I don't want to do all that commitment. But when you put me in front of a SJW, I'm gladly enough to go through all that commitment and hard work. Because Gotcha Life is something people usually usually just ignore and take at face value when they see Gotcha Life and go cringy and ignore everything good about it. Kind of like how if Donald Trump tries to pass a good law, people will not accept that good law because it's Donald Trump. Easy.
And if you don't, well then you're probably a lot more original than a lot of the other anti-SJW channels out there. But I'm like one of the only channels out there that actually uses a robot voice consistently, so I'm already original. Now, Francesca Ramsey is a very interesting individual. A lot of people know how to do mental gymnastics, but Francesca Ramsey takes home the fucking gold medal.
Ugh, I hate having a birthday during Black History Month. Why do I only get a day when they get an entire month?
You're so smart, babe.
You know what we really need? We need a White History Month.
We need no month. Every history that is... Okay, Black history is American history, alright? America.
Did someone say that there should be a White History Month?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Let me guess, you're not racist or anything, but you just think it'd be better if we didn't have a Black History Month in America at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ugh, let's get this over with.
And then Chadwick wins cribbage.
It's Mandy and I. Why are we dressed so lame? And what are those stupid ass shoes?
Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show just how much American history would change if black...
This is actually kind of really stupid. You know evolution exists, right? even if black people didn't exist and we were all white or something, someone would still invent Jordan. Because there would still be a white popular basketball player that would inspire them to make shoes based off that basketball player. So basically, Jordan, it would be called Jordans unless the superstar was called Jordan that was white, and there would still be a whole bunch of stuff invented. See? It's called evolution. You really need to figure out about that. Because when times change, people want to adapt to those times and stuff wouldn't be the same. People would change and then they would change all their stuff. That's how it works.
Black people never existed. And while I do agree that if black people never existed, American history would be very different, what the fuck does this have to do with White History Month? Having a White History Month wouldn't get rid of Black History Month. We have 12 months in a year. And we do have a European History Month, so technically we already have White History Month. Just because you have something new doesn't mean the other thing is going to disappear. Sometimes I want to drink propane instead of oil, but it doesn't mean oil is going to disappear altogether. Second, I know you're not saying this, but it really comes across that you're saying if we got rid of Black History Month, black people would disappear from all of history. Did black people not exist before Black History Month or something? If we had an Elven History Month, would elves suddenly pop into existence? But here's what I think you're really saying. You're saying that people who want a White History Month also don't want a Black History Month, and people who don't want a Black History Month also believe that black people contributed nothing to society. And this video will convince them, oh my god, black people contributed so much! We need a Black History Month! And no other history months! At all. When people like me say there shouldn't be a Black History Month, we're not saying that we should get rid of black history. We're just
It's just black history is American history, we get it.
saying that black history should be taught throughout the year, along with other history to make it more, well, normal. Morgan Freeman, can you explain this for me?
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it.
Just one thing, Morgan Freeman. How come every time something convoluted needs explaining, you show up?
Because every time I show up and explain something, I earn a freckle.
I don't watch that much South Park, so sorry if I don't know the episode from what this is.
Now I could talk about the rest of her video, but Teal Deer did an excellent job on covering it. I'll link it down below if you want to see it. But trust me, this is merely the tip of the Franchesca Ramsey iceberg.
Are the terms cracker, white trash, and redneck racist?
Yeah, very much so.
I wonder who came up with these phrases.
Oh no, you're not gonna say what I think you're gonna say.
Often when we talk about white privilege, a common rebuttal is, I can't be privileged, I grew up poor. Or, tell that to a homeless person.
Yeah, that is true. That is 100% true. You can't argue against that. What? You have to understand. Privilege isn't based off skin. It isn't really. White privilege just doesn't exist anymore. It used to, but now it doesn't at all.
But being disadvantaged in one area doesn't negate privilege in others.
Yeah, but class privilege pretty much trumps all other privileges combined.
Yeah, pretty much.
White privilege doesn't erase the existence of poor white people or the challenges they face due to their class, nor did
Have you watched what some people say? Most people don't even acknowledge it. I'll give her 1 point minus 50 for all the other bad things she does.
discussions of white privilege erase the harmful stereotypes about being poor and white.
Then being privileged really isn't all that great.
Take, for example, the terms cracker, white trash, or redneck. All of these terms have been aggressively used by a white upper class to insult a white underclass.
It doesn't really matter what the word used to mean. There's a thing called the evolution of language, and we should focus on what the word means now.
While these terms have become racialized over time, they have a classist origin that goes way back.
Yeah, just like pretty much every word we use today.
Yeah, can meant something else different. Anything. The word that we have today could mean something different a long time ago. You understand that, right?
The term was later used by African American slaves and Northern sympathizers as a shortened version of whip cracker, in reference to the whip-wielding plantation workers. So yes, the word cracker was racialized, but the slaves weren't oppressing poor white people by using the term because they were still slaves.
Yeah, but they're not slaves anymore, so they can't really use that excuse.
Yeah. Some people think it would be acceptable for people like me. Well, I shouldn't say that, but like black people to be racist because of before, and I find that completely, utterly wrong. No one should be able to be racist, no matter what circumstance. It's not acceptable either way.
White trash shows up next. It's believed to have originated in Baltimore in the 1820s as a way for Southern house slaves to disparage poor whites.
So the word does have a racist origin. Granted, it's both racist and classist, but it's racist nonetheless.
All of these terms are rooted in classism, and since classism and racism often go hand in hand, you might be wondering, why didn't this oppressed underclass of poor white people join forces with the oppressed black people? Well, at one time, they actually did, and the white elites were terrified that these groups would eventually overthrow the existing power structure.
So what you're saying is, a bunch of wealthy people, like you, made sure that the poor didn't overthrow you by making poor blacks and poor white people fight one another, kind of like what you do. Isn't it funny that right after the whole 99% versus the 1% thing started, race relations started getting worse and worse? I'm not saying they're connected for sure, but I'm definitely suspicious about it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty suspicious. I used to love this show. I kind of still do.
The upper class instead stopped having white servants altogether and only relied on slaves. To make matters worse, they literally invented militia jobs for poor white people to police slaves. As Michelle Alexander points out in her book, The New Jim Crow, this not only eliminated the risk of an alliance between black slaves and poor whites, but it also meant poor whites suddenly had a direct stake in the race-based system of slavery. Poor whites weren't any better off, but hey, at least they weren't black. And unfortunately, this strategy has worked for most of American history. Yep.
I don't know.
Someone racist against white people, you should probably put yourself up there. Not Donald Trump. I don't really know anything racist Donald Trump did. He mostly is sexist, mostly. He isn't really that sexist, but still he kind of is.
I don't know why you're putting Trump up there. You really should be putting yourself and the rest of the rich SJWs that are making race relations worse and worse.
Wealthy and accomplished people of color still encounter racism. Just a few years ago, multi-billionaire Oprah Winfrey was in an upscale shop in Switzerland and was told she probably couldn't afford one of the pricey handbags she was looking at. That's because the shop attendant just saw a black woman in the store and not mother Oprah.
Francesca.
Okay. You were talking about America, then you went to Switzerland, and then you didn't. You understand, someone in my family has been to Switzerland, and I don't know it's because they didn't buy anything pricey, but I'm pretty sure that it wasn't. No one told them that they couldn't afford something because they were black. I'm pretty sure that's not what happened. The handbag was probably super pricey, and they thought that she couldn't buy it. That's it.
That happened in Switzerland. Do you know where Switzerland is? Historical American racism is not affecting how Swiss people treat black people. If you're going to talk about racism in America, then talk about racism in America. I also love that you pretend that you don't have a lot of money.
The top 0.1% of Americans have as much wealth as the bottom 90% of Americans combined, which doesn't leave much for the rest of us.
Dude, I love how she says the rest of us, as if, yeah, Francesca, just like all of us, isn't she? Even though, according to this article, Francesca makes 6 figures just off of YouTube, not even counting MTV, or her events, or VidCon, or partnerships. Oh, but I forgot, she's black, so she's gotta be part of the 99%, right?
That clip was from a fellow anti-SJW channel. He did a very...
He is centered now, I think. I have him more check. Yeah, right now he is more in the center, like me and my friend, because because both of our sides did one side did something wrong, and then the other side did very lots of much wrong. So we're just in the middle of it and just independent, not choosing either sides because both the sides act like complete idiots.
Very good job debunking Francesca Ramsey. I highly recommend you go check him out. And another YouTuber you should check out is Brad Reed. He did a very good job exposing Francesca Ramsey for just how much she edits things to make herself look good.
If you're perceptive enough, you'll notice Paul Joseph Watson is the only one whose comment has the amount of upvotes cut off from it. They didn't cut it off from the comments disagreeing with her that didn't get any upvotes, and they didn't cut it off from the comments that agreed with her and did get upvoted. I even checked the original comment and it has over 900 thumbs up. It's almost like they didn't want you to know that people agreed with him. Crazy, right?
Ooh, wow. You know what? Me personally, I would never do that unless it was actually something serious, and I will never stoop that low unless I did something actually wrong that can actually hurt me really badly, more than this chick. And even then, I probably wouldn't do it.
And Francesca Ramsey does shit like this a lot. Every time she talks about someone being privileged, or being an oppressor, or being rich, it's always a fucking white male.
Okay, most of I'm not saying all black people are bad because I'm black, and I'm not gonna get those views. I'm black, so I cannot be racist. No, that's... I was mentally abused by kids that were my age and darker than me. So I don't think all white people are suppressors because it's idiotic.
And every time she talks about someone being hurt by the system, it's always a non-white guy.
When I criticize the school-to-prison pipeline, lack of police training, workplace discrimination, or our court system, some people don't want to hear it or think about it.
I also love the part where she said,
the lack of police training mostly came from something that I can't talk about in this video, not because it doesn't relate to the topic. If I was talking about that topic, I would be talking about this on a whole nother channel. Wait, no, it was the same channel. This one, I'm sorry. I get mixed up all the time with this, and yeah.
As some people just don't want to think about it. And she shows a picture of a white guy covering his ears. Francesca, people like me are thinking about it. But guess what? We think you're full of shit.
Are you A, mad at the Department of Education for not training teachers better? B, mad at your state congressional representatives for not pushing for bigger education budgets? Or C, mad at me for talking about this because it's easier to direct your anger?
If you really narrated C better, it would sound like, or are you mad at me for being completely racist, incorrect, and mostly awful?
Towards someone making you feel guilty instead of being angry at the complicated as world of institutional racism.
We're mad at you for spreading bullshit information. God, I hate it when people do this. You're mad at me for some bullshit reason that no one would ever be mad over.
Well,
It's not like when people are mad at me for being a gotcha tuber. That is very childish and insulting to me and other people who actually spend lots of time. Not everyone in a gotcha life spends lots of time, struggles to be good, and struggles the most on their content. I understand that. But not But some gotcha tubers struggle very much, so it's very insulting to them who do a lot of hard work, and to me who's trying to make it big in the ranting business by starting out small. I hope that you guys can really help me achieve that dream. That's why I depend on you guys. I try to upload my most, even if I hadn't for a while, so I can get movie reviews done, impressions of characters done, and these type of videos done on time. And manage a whole Gacha Life series at the same time. I know Hybrid Season 2 is still in working because I only had the season finale of Hybrid done for the first season. I was supposed to have 5 more episodes, but because of all the work I've been doing, I couldn't even get 5 more episodes out by June 13th. And even then, the deadline, I was 1 day or 2 days over my deadline for June 13th. So even then, I worked super hard, so this was very insulting to me. Well, her, she has no reason to say this because there actually is a reason for people to insult her, as she says. But no. Yeah.
Robin DiAngelo, a white critical racial and social justice scholar, has described the discomfort some white people have towards talking about racism as white fragility. Since white people often grow up in environments where discussing racism...
Weird. What about the black people who don't want to talk about race because history and stuff? Or people like you who think white people who talk about it are usually being racist because they usually disagree with you. Not even white people, mostly black people like me disagree with you too because you're an idiot.
Is seen as taboo, some react defensively when the topic of racism comes up. Dr. DiAngelo says this manifests itself as outward displays of emotions such as anger, fear, and guilt, and behaviors such as argumentation, silence, and leaving the stress-inducing situation.
Francesca, you do realize that if a white person doesn't agree with every single thing the far left says, he's going to be labeled a racist, right? Hell, even if a white person does that, they might be labeled as a racist.
Actually, very true. This is literally a forecoming and true because before I was 10, I used to be mostly into white people, and I told someone that when they told me if I liked white or black people, I said that I liked black guys, I just liked white guys more, and the dude called me a racist. Mind you, this before I was pansexual and realized every race and gender and sexuality is friggin' amazing. But seriously, yeah. He called me a racist for that. So, if you take away if I was white, and if you take away my race and made me white, and I just said this to someone online like her, then she would have a fit. And then I would be made fun of and I would be called a racist. And the funny thing is, I know we don't usually use child as a slur on the channel. Well, not really a slur, but still, as an insult on the channel. I'm going to say it. A child did that. And I'm a child debunking another child and an adult. So, basically, they use the same thing that someone way stupider than another child would do. Yeah, really, really smart, guys. Really smart.
And by argumentation, do you mean disagreeing with you?
It's also hard to think about these issues on an institutional level, and because talking about racism automatically makes a lot of white people uncomfortable, they sometimes begin to think they're being...
What about black people who find it uncomfortable? I'm pretty sure you're forgetting a whole nother group of people.
Personally attacked or blamed. Recent studies show that white Americans believe bias against white people is a bigger issue in our country than ever before. This, however, is...
Because it is! I'm going to play... There's only a amount of times that I can say I'm black before I say, yeah, I understand, you get the reason. But still, I'm going to say it again. I am black and I think that this is a problem. I've seen it on the internet, I've seen it on TikTok, I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it around it. I can't avoid it.
Simply not true.
No, Francesca, it absolutely is. You can record yourself.
Oh, I remember that. I swear to God. Now, here's the reason why these people got arrested, because this man was crippled. Now, imagine if that dude wasn't crippled. Nobody knows if these four would actually be arrested. They probably wouldn't. So if the man wasn't crippled, they would be let off the hook. You understand how bad that is? Really bad. So white racism is really going on really badly right now.
Of torturing a white guy, you can say, fuck white people, fuck Trump, and the media will say it wasn't a hate crime.
That's probably not very popular. We cannot callously go about classifying things as a hate crime.
What do you say to the people?
She was I think she was fired after this. I hope she was, though.
People who dragged a poor white guy out of a car and beat him.
Oh my goodness, poor white people, please, oh my, stop.
Wow. Someone paid lots of money to be on CNN actually just said that. Oh my God. As a child, I feel ashamed. I just feel ashamed. I literally feel ashamed.
Let's not forget about all the BuzzFeed questions for white people videos. If those questions were directed at anybody else, the media would label BuzzFeed as an alt-right organization that is trying to spread racism or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people take the safe route, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't like challenges, but when it comes to this, when it comes to like using your brain for political stuff, I'm fine with challenges because deep inside, I know I'm not racist because I put my heart and soul into this, okay? So most people try to take the safe route, and I'm just like, no, forget the safe route. You can throw that out the window. I am a black... Well, I'm going to count black out because it doesn't really matter. I am a child who is a gotcha tuber and also working on voice acting. Yeah, I'm going to also try to do voice acting for certain people, just a voice, if I ever get a deal with him and stuff.
Statistically, from mortgage lending to police brutality, the reality for white Americans tends to be way more positive than for black Americans and other people of color.
What about Asians? On average, they're doing much better than white people. And also, I love how you're trying to make white people seem like they're all rich while black people are all poor. You're not pointing out race issues. You're pointing out class issues and saying they're race issues.
By refusing to engage with the actual issues, the people who shout the absurd accusation, "You're racist against white people!"
Because you are! This chick is actually racist against white people and you could not tell me she is not.
Are really just attempting to shut down the conversation.
Oh, but when your side is calling anyone who disagrees with you a racist, sexist, homophobe, that's okay and it's not shutting down the conversation.
Imagine if people who think I'm racist against white people found something they enjoyed online, instead of watching Decoded every week and complaining in the comments.
I'm going to sing this like the Simpsons intro, so don't call me out for this. This is bad. Tima's boss's mom. Very good.
Comments.
Holy shit, I think we just found T-Moss Boss's mom.
If you don't like the video, then don't watch it.
Damn, that explains a lot. But probably her most cringiest video was when she was defending PC culture.
Is PC culture destroying freedom of speech?
Yes, yes, yes.
Which dated meme should I use? Should I use the one of M. Bison saying, yes, yes? Or should I use the one of M. Bison turning around and saying, of course? Or maybe I should just stop using dated memes. Or
use of course, who cares?
Or memes altogether, and actually try to be funny on my own for once. Nah.
Of course! If you've ever called out racism, sexism, ableism, or any other oppressivism,
if you're white,
you've probably been accused of being too PC.
No, people get...
Never mind, I mean, Yeah, it works both ways.
Called 2PC when they call anyone who disagrees with them a racist, sexist, homophobe.
Yeah,
which is not even being PC, which is why I call them an SJW instead of 2PC. Because it's not even political correctness anymore. It's the opposite.
Political correctness.
It's cancer.
Is avoiding words or behaviors that.
Oh my god, he does prove that political correctness takes away your freedom of speech. If you have to avoid saying certain things, then that's less freedom.
Exclude, marginalize, or insult groups of people who are socially disadvantaged or discriminated against. Basically, treating people with respect.
You mean treating people like you with respect. But people who disagree with you, well, they're...
Bash their skulls with your social righteousness, I said it too fast, righteousness, so that we can all learn that we are all bigots and we need to be open-minded. Just shut up with that, I swear to God. This chick, you know you have it bad. I know I shouldn't say this. When a child can make more sense of what you're doing, right? You understand, you hit an all-time low.
Racist, sexist, you guys get the drill. I've already said this so many times.
Now, if you ask me, that doesn't sound like a bad thing. But a recent poll by Fairleigh Dickinson University found that 68% of Americans and 81% of Republicans agreed that a big problem this country has is being politically correct. Even 62% of Democrats polled agreed that being PC was getting out of hand.
Francesca, it's not your job to use evidence to debunk your arguments. It's my job.
For these
really
folks, political correctness is synonymous with weakness or being overly sensitive.
And shutting people down. Don't forget that.
That's the main agree. Oh my god. Wait, what was it?
Not your job to use evidence to debunk your arguments. It's my job.
For these folks, political correctness is synonymous with weakness.
Weakness. Once upon a time, there was a man named Mr. SJW who was trying to make political corrective. He put weakness, overly sensitive, but he added the secret ingredient. He added the wrong ingredient. Chemical shutting people down. SJWs, they suck.
Or being overly sensitive.
And shutting people down. Don't forget that.
Similar to the new term social justice warrior, calling someone PC is a way to derail and dismiss conversations about inequality.
No, Francesca. It's the other way around, and you know it. Before they even...
Yeah, I'm with him. This whole video I'm basically just with him. Unlike No BS. I'm always with Just a Robot because No BS is usually stupid and always complains about the wrong thing. Like, let me give an example, because I know it's off topic and that's why I didn't bring the other reason, which is probably going to make a video about it. But I have to give examples when I'm talking about something when I'm referencing to another YouTube channel. So, basically, No BS was reacting to a video about parents raising their kids without gender, and then complained about them raising them vegan. You understand that and then he said, "That's reason you to be vegan a-holes." I'm just like, not all vegan people are mean. My friend is vegan and she's like the nicest person in the world you can ever meet. Well, how do you think we met? She literally became my friend because I was being bullied and she had pity for me and she was awesome and really nice and we're friends to this day. Seriously. So, it was kind of irritating that he was complaining about vegan. Which is why Just a Robot and Chris Ray Gun are two YouTubers way better. Because they don't contradict the problem with another problem that doesn't make sense. They literally just go head first.
And say the word, you're 2PC, or you're a social justice warrior, the other person has already dismissed or derailed the conversation because it hurt their fifis.
Here's the thing. It's not just about hurt feelings. It's about calling out oppressive power structures, and that's where the misunderstanding comes in.
Francesca.
Oh, look.
Not many people are trying to make a straw man out of us and say that's the reason why we call you social justice warriors. But the thing is, I've seen your like-dislike bar. Not many
A lot of people agree with that, yeah.
people are buying into it.
What's perceived as being too sensitive is usually someone speaking out against lazy, offensive language that doesn't usually get challenged. That's because the group of people that those words hurt historically haven't had the opportunities to have their voices heard.
Ah, yes, historical oppression. How do you think your ancestors would feel if they knew you were using them as a shield?
Oh my god. They would be super duper mad about this, and they would probably smack you in the head so hard if they were still alive. Like, dang, grandchild, I swear to God, I would know, because that would feel insulting.
Also, I love that you're using a black guy to call out racist bullshit from a white guy. You're about as subtle as a nuclear explosion.
And the people who call that being too PC are often in privileged positions and don't want to or haven't had to think about what they're saying, or the consequences that come with it.
Francesca.
Like I said, I'm pansexual, so someone using a homophobic excuse is really hurtful to me because I actually experienced it. Sure, it was minor, but still, I know the difference. It's obvious.
I've seen the income of the people who talk about you, and the income you get. You're way more fucking privileged than them.
You can't take away my freedom of speech just because you're offended. Well, yeah. In America, freedom of speech simply means the government cannot prohibit you from expressing yourself. It's why you can criticize Obama without being thrown in jail.
Okay, this is an argument I hear a lot, and technically Francesca Ramsey is right. Someone blocking you on Twitter, or not inviting you to their college, or even punching you in the face, is not taking away your freedom of speech.
Also, I keep on remembering that. Who the heck keeps on punching people in the face because they disagree with them? Guys, you have to stop that. You know that, right? When someone my age does that, it is acceptable because adults think we're stupid and they'll give it a slap on the wrist. But if it's someone your age and you're an adult, it is no longer acceptable because you already have a hard bar to set. Not a high bar to set. I really need to like practice to get like all the giggles out before this because all the stupidity in the video just makes my words mumble up with rage.
Unless, of course, they break your jaw or something. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying any of this is good, and I do think they're total pussies who can't handle an opposing argument.
Yeah.
But they're not taking away your freedom of speech. They're just censoring you. However, certain SJWs in places like Canada are taking away freedom of speech. In Canada, by law, you have to call people by their preferred pronouns or you're breaking the law.
But on the...
What? Okay, it is kind of annoying if someone calls you misgendered, because sometimes you can just have a long talk with them and be like, hey, can you call me this instead? But having a whole law saying that you're breaking the law if you don't call someone by their pronouns is just ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure people who are non-binary or something do not appreciate it. They feel more annoyed.
Interpersonal level, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Technically, no subject on Earth is off limits. You can say whatever you want, but in turn, people are allowed to respond however they want.
Yes, Francesca, we're aware of that. But you need to understand that it works both ways.
Yeah, and all the other SJWs, I'm still on that, who want to punch people in the face for disagreeing with them. Yes, I'm still on that. You cannot blame me. You seriously cannot. Do not say, oh, you should get over it. I'm still not over it.
With everybody spending their money and buying all sorts of
just around
% of Republicans calling out oppressive power structure expressing yourself. It's why
in Canada, by
last year alone, the OED added microaggressions, mansplain, and all.
Francesca,
mansplaining?
because that word is used to silence people. And just because you add more words, it doesn't mean you have more freedom of speech. Just like if new guns were made, it wouldn't loosen the grip of gun control. But despite everything I've said about Francesca so far, I don't know if it's all her fault. She is an actor, and I'm pretty sure someone else pays her to say these things. Well, I do
because no one willingly of dignity says these words.
Think she believes most of the stuff she is saying. I don't know for sure if she believes all of it. I just hope she does what Lacey Green did.
Yeah, I would never say this free of will. And I would have to be paid more than 6 racks just to say those words. Or I wouldn't do it at all. Unless I was actually struggling so badly, I would never say those words and humiliate myself and become a racist like this.
And just leave her echo chamber just for a little bit to talk to someone on the other side.
That is the end of today's video. Next video I'll be asking if it was okay for me to use his clips, and then we might be able to see a video of us talking on Discord. Will probably be really long. Anyway, bye. Mwah.